Oh, my expendable subjects. I mean, valued workers. You're here, right on time. Not a moment too soon. Mickey 17 is the newest film from acclaimed Korean director Bong Joon Ho, the director that gave us the Academy Award-winning feature film Parasite back in 2019, which was the first foreign film to ever take home Best Picture at the Oscars. That's right, the first one ever. This new film stars Robert Pattinson as a man named Mickey, go figure, who signs up for a somewhat inglorious type of job. He signs up as an expendable employee whose basis and job of basically repeated self-sacrifice exists to help survey and study the dangers and perils of this planet that they are looking to colonize and possibly have humans be colonized on it. The planet that they're attempting to colonize, codenamed Niflheim, after the Norse ice realm of the same name, is an icy barren planet, home to a colony of these large, kind of creepy looking and questionable creatures. Now, Mickey's job here is a special one. His job as an expendable is basically to die over and over again while exploring the deepest and unquestionably dangerous parts of this uncharted planet. Whether it be for the purpose of exploring uncharted terrain or surveying environments for toxicity levels, or perhaps attempting to retrieve a valuable piece of alien anatomy so that the humans can study it and maybe create a vaccine or a miracle of some kind out of it. That's literally his job. When Mickey dies out in the field, he is brought back and cloned into an exact replica of himself as he was before, with all of his memories intact too. They've all been programmed and put back into the cloned version of him. Now, Mickey's friends and acquaintances, and all who agreed to work as part of this Project Niflheim, are somewhat expendable themselves as well, in that most of them are low-lives, criminals, or deadbeats, gutter trash, with nothing really to live for and nothing really going for them in their lives. So they inadvertently volunteer for this project, for this program, hoping maybe they can start their life over, wipe their record clean, kind of start new on this planet that's hopefully going to be colonized and be a fresh start for them. It's a glimmer of hope for these people who haven't had any in a while. Robert Pattinson is definitely a good actor with a lot of range, and he's well cast here. He's especially funny in the way that he kind of Jack and Jills the two Mickey characters, who are like technically the same person, but it's funny, they each have their own distinct personalities, which is very funny to see, and Robert Pattinson does a good job of distinguishing very clearly which is which. Naomi Eckel plays Nasha, and she is definitely a standout character in here. The script goes a bit R-y at times, and Eckel, she carries the film through those moments that would have otherwise not worked or been lame without her presence. Steven Yeun, however, is sadly underutilized here. Without spoiling anything, I really don't like the path that they ended up choosing for his character. I feel like he kind of gets sidelined to a degree, although that's like kind of the point, I think. Like, I think that's kind of the notion they were going for. But I don't know. I was just kind of disappointed to see that. An actor of his caliber, I've been a big fan of his for a while. The Walking Dead, Beef, Minari, he's very talented. This colossal and, might I add, hilariously seemingly doomed Niflheim project is funded and administered by a greedy and patronizing oligarch named Marshall, played by Mark Ruffalo, and his wife, played by Toni Collette. These two narcissistic annoyances wish only to use this project as a way of erasing their past trouble and their woes from the history books and achieve glory for themselves. Like, deep down, they couldn't care less about the science, really. Mark Ruffalo is excellent in this film, continuing to impress and extend his range as an actor with every role he takes. He's an actor I'm seeing more and more of with that, and he is really funny and really cringy, but I mean, that's kind of the point. He pulls it off. Toni Collette, as always, she is always a welcomed presence. She's great in everything she does, and she's about as spoiled and funny and a great presence as she ever has been. Now, as a big fan of Bong Joon Ho and everything he's done before this, I do have to say that this one didn't quite stick the landing with me the way his other works have. I mean, it's a fine piece, albeit, but one that feels a bit inconsistent. Alright, director deep dive time. If you've ever watched any of Bong Joon Ho's films, really Korean cinema in general, but most notably Bong's films, you know that he has a knack for portraying, I guess you could call it like a class feudalism, sort of. Layers of classes of human beings and showing where they fit into the sequence of society and the natural order of things. Snowpiercer being a great example of this, a film of his from 2013, which I absolutely loved, which was American and had an all-American cast too, just like this one. There are aspects taken from that, and a lot of his earlier works are blended in here. The same kind of themes too. Two films of his most notably, The Host and Okja. They both seem to be heavily an influence here as far as like, you know, what they were going for tonally and connectivity wise. Both of those films depict a creature of an alien species and portray more or less the connection that they have on like an existential level to the humans that exist around them. And one is about a monster that's terrorizing a city. One about a bond between a child and a creature that's not of this world. Mickey 17 puts our human characters on a planet with an unknown species of creature and inadvertently explores how humans' destruction of the natural world and the dangers of authoritarianism can come crashing down on us if we cease to attempt communication, heck, with one another, or even attempt to understand any beings that are even a little different from ourselves. There's an underlying theme of coexistence here and a connection to each other, and how greed and authoritarianism can poison the process. However, in this film, the lines are blurred as to like what the message is supposed to be and what we're supposed to take away from it, frankly. Also, is this a comedy or a drama? It feels like a very odd mix of the two. Now, look at his 2019 film Parasite, his Best Picture winner. Parasite was a grounded powerhouse of tone, tension, and damn near flawless archaic storytelling. Mickey 17 feels like just a bit of an attempt to do too much. The CGI is not particularly impressive. The pacing of the film sometimes suffers because of the way it chooses to stage things also. Now look, obviously after Bong won Best Director and Best Picture, he clearly had some backing for this project and a lot of money, and you know, he was in the situation where he could have done anything he wanted, and you know, he definitely had all the resources he could ever wanted available to make what he wanted. But I don't know, I just feel like this one was just slightly too ambitious to the point where it ended up tripping over itself a bit. I mean, I just watched one of his very early works, like just last month for the first time, a movie called Memories of Murder from 2003, and it is excellent. It is a clearly established and firm piece of storytelling, tonally consistent all the way through, keeps you guessing till the very end. The way it's shot, the cinematography, the metaphorical message of it, so powerful. And I just didn't feel that with this movie. I didn't feel moved or motivated or like I'd just been gut punched like I did at the end of Parasite. And, you know, I'm sorry to keep comparing it to his past works. It's just, I know what a good director Bong is. And I don't know, I just feel like ambition may have got the best of him here. But now, don't get me wrong, I was entertained. I definitely laughed out loud a few times. But this is not one that stuck with me like his other works. But, you know, maybe upon a second viewing, I will come around to it a little more. That does tend to happen with some filmmakers, and he is definitely one of them. Yeah, this film's not bad. It's definitely worth checking out. I'm going to give Mickey 17 a 6.9 out of 10. Thank you all so much for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.